This is a story time video, so get ready. Hi everyone, so as you read by the title, this is my high school cheerleading experience. And sorry if I sound weird or really congested. That's because I'm starting to get a head cold thanks to my boyfriend. Love you. He gave me his head cold that he actually still has. He gave it to me, so sorry if I sound congested and if I'm taking deep breaths and sound like, you know, that I'm out of breath. It's because I am. I can't breathe. So, yeah. So, let's start off with, I started cheerleading my freshman year. I was really excited because I really liked doing cheerleading. I mean, I did cheerleading in 8th grade, so I really liked to do cheerleading. It was really fun. I loved it. So I did it my freshman year. It was good at first, but the coach definitely had favorites, and you could tell which ones were her favorites. And most of the time it was the seniors. The seniors were her favorites. The seniors got away with anything. You know, they didn't have to run laps. They didn't have to do all this stuff because they were seniors. They were her favorites. So they didn't really have to run laps or anything. But one of the things was we all ran, I think, 4 laps in the building around the school. When it was really cold outside, we would run laps in the building, or if it was raining. But most of the time, we would run around the block and be done. That was our 1 mile run for the day. But sometimes, most of the time, we would run inside because everyone would want to run inside. So we would run inside and we would have to run 4 laps. Now, everyone would take this back hallway to walk, and sometimes if she caught you walking, she added another lap for you. So there were some girls who were running 6-7 laps because they were caught walking because they needed a break. They're running the full 4 laps. So some of these girls would get done with their 4 laps, and some of them had to run an extra lap, an extra 2 laps, whatever the case may be. Some people had to run extra laps. And these other girls would be stretching, doing whatever, and by the time the other girls were done stretching, these other girls who were still running came and sat down and would start stretching.
And she'd be like, hurry up, girls.
Because she wanted to get on with the practice. If you wanted to get on with the practice, why'd you make them run more? I don't understand. She made these girls run laps. Whatever, so we would run 4 laps inside every day, or sometimes we'd just run all the way around the block of the school. Now, if you go to my school, you know that block is a pretty huge block. We would run all the way around that, right? We would come inside, we stretch, you know, get our splits going, whatever, do some jumps, be done. Then we'd start with the cheerleading. Well, I remember I missed a practice because I was not at school. So obviously I can't go to practice if I'm not at school. My freshman year, I did a pretty good job of going to school. My 8th grade year, I missed half the year. Sophomore year, I missed half the year. So my freshman year was pretty good. I didn't miss that much school because I had a sport to actually enjoy. But same with my sophomore year too. I had that to enjoy. But let me just start. We were going to travel to another town that was about an hour away to go cheer for the football players. This was the first game. It was an out-of-town game. We were all really excited. We're gonna go to this town to cheer or whatever, and I didn't get to go because obviously I missed that day, and I was fine with that because I didn't really want to go anyways, so I missed that. And then they got back and we did practices every day, and our practices started right after school, like 3:45, 4 o'clock-ish, and we'd get done at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So they were about half an hour, 2-hour practices. They weren't very long practices. But every Tuesdays we'd do a late practice, which meant we'd start at 5 o'clock and end at 7. So they were late practices. So freshman year wasn't really that bad at all. Like, the coach was kind of nice. She, you know, definitely had her favorites. She really had her favorites. We practiced for homecoming, whatever. Freshman year was a great experience for cheerleading. That's why when sophomore year came around, I wanted to do it again because I liked it. It was fun. Sophomore year comes around and I have my 2 best friends do cheerleading with me. Now, keep in mind, when I did cheerleading my freshman year, I got a lot of new friends. And this is where things started to get a little bit heated with the cheer coach because Obviously, when you're with your friends, you like to goof around a little bit and then, you know, get back to work, whether it be in school, work, whatever the case may be. My best friends and I would run the laps. My other friend would just go because she liked running, so she would just run all these laps. While me and my other best friend would run these laps, you know, our pace. We wouldn't rush it. We'd walk a little bit, like where she couldn't see us, and then we'd start running again, whatever. And then we get to stretching. You know, this is my second year doing cheerleading. So I knew the cheers. I knew how tight you should have been. Like, I knew the cheers, whatever. And so my best friend was always right next to me in the line because we do the front line and then we do the front row and then the back row, you know, how you're supposed to stand. Stand in between the space, 2 girls here, 1 girl back here. You know, typical cheerleading stance, how you're supposed to stand, like if you were at a football game. Well, my best friend would be right beside me, and this was her first year ever doing cheerleading. Like, she didn't think she'd be a cheerleader, but this was her first year ever doing it. She wanted to try it. So I was helping her out with the cheer that we were doing. Everyone was talking away. She looks at us and goes,
"Girls, you need to get back to practice. You need to pay attention. You don't need to be helping her with the cheer. That's the cheer we're going over right now."
I look at her and I'm like,
"Are you kidding me? I'm helping her with the cheer. Why are you getting upset?"
So I just ignore her and I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna practice it. Well, when the girls broke it down, they made it, how do I say this? They didn't slow down enough. They didn't really slow it down to where if you were learning it, you know, you could learn it. So they would go like W. They'd go W-A-R-R-I. That's how fast they would go. Now, it wouldn't really be like, you know, that's not even fast. But for those, like, if you're, like, learning the cheer, that's fast. You know, so I was going W, this is W, this is A, this is R. I was taking it step by step, really, really slow to teach her so that she didn't look dumb when she went and cheered out on the football field. And the coach just got mad when I did this, so I just stopped doing it. I was like, whatever, you can teach her then. Like, this is not my problem. You can teach her the cheers that you want to teach her so bad. You need to tell them to slow it down, whatever. Kept my mouth shut. Well, homecoming, the coach was fine or whatever, you know, we'd run laps every day. And then homecoming started coming around and we had this big routine to practice. You know, we were stunting, whatever the case may be. Well, they were going to have us all stunt in this line. And I was like, no, that's kind of dumb. Like, there's 4 of us stunt groups. There's 4 grades. Why don't each of us go in front of a grade and do a stunt? Like, that would be cool. Like, oh my, that would be cool. Yeah, thanks for the idea. And so I felt like, oh, using my idea, cool, whatever the case may be. Well, then the other coach, she wasn't really I don't know if you'd call her a coach, but she was one of the girls' moms. She is now the cheerleading coach. She's super nice. I loved this coach because she was so nice. She obviously didn't have favorites. She kind of just helped everybody. This coach was really nice, and she's like, okay, so you 2 do tumbling. It was supposed to be me and this other girl doing a tumbling while they did their line. Anyways, so this coach was really nice. And it's supposed to be me and this other girl, but this other girl moved away. So it was just me tumbling in front of the line. Well, it didn't really matter because they didn't really correct me. They were just more focused on the line, so my tumbling was really bad. Not even a lie, I had bent legs. I don't know if my toes were pointed. They probably weren't, but I had bent legs, whatever the fact may be. But the routine ended up being really, really good. And, you know, we went into this W, like we formed a W because our school's W. And so I was kind of off a little bit in the video. You can see it. But she would get so mad if you were off. She would but she was raising her voice at you so you knew that she was serious. It was just, oh my gosh, it was craziness. Homecoming was really great. I remember she always wanted you to be an hour early to the game so you could warm up, practice, whatever. I knew before, so I was on JV and varsity, so I would cheer the JV game and then I would cheer the varsity game, so I just cheered all night. I remember we ran 1 lap before, and then we'd practice the cheers, go over the cheers, what cheers do you guys want to do first, what cheers don't you like so we can do them last, what cheers do you need help on so we can help you right now before the game starts, whatever the case may be. She was never there for any of the JV games. Never. We could do whatever we wanted. We didn't even have to cheer. We could just goof around the whole time, you know? But we did it. We did the cheers, whatever. the varsity game came, and I went to the varsity game, obviously, because I cheered at the varsity game. And she was really serious about this varsity game. If you weren't looking tight, she's like, you need to be tighter. You weren't looking forward. Hey, you need to look forward. Hey, move over a little bit. You're not in the right space. Next time, you need to do a jump. You know, she was really serious about it. But for, like, the JV girls, I felt bad because, you know, they were supposed to show up to the game. And sometimes, you know, they went out of town. Or sometimes they weren't there. Like, they'd show up to watch and then leave. Go hang out with their friends, watch the game, whatever, sit with their parents. She wanted them to be down there the whole time supporting varsity team. And I get, you know, it gets boring, especially if you're not cheering, to just sit there and watch them cheer. And she's like, you guys can cheer too. Like, you can cheer with them. Cheer them on, whatever the case may be. But no one wants to do that. Most of the JV girls cheered with varsity anyways. So that really wasn't a big deal. I think there was like 4 who did it. And they were always there. Always. I remember she was really, really serious about this. And the actual homecoming game, like the actual game, like the day of, we did our routine, we did the parade, we cheered the JV game, and then we had to come back 30 minutes later because she always wanted us to be an hour ahead, go to varsity. Always had to do this stuff, like, always. Then we'd be there 30 minutes after the JV game. You'd have to go home and change real quick, come back for the JV game, and then you would cheer for the varsity game. And then the homecoming night was like the big game. So when the game was over, you couldn't just leave right away. Like, if you were on JV, you could just leave right away. Anyways, so at the end of the homecoming game, the actual game, you had to go line up down at the bottom in these 2 rows where the football players ran out of, and you had to go, we are proud of you, say, we are proud of you. We are proud of you, say, we are proud of you. We had to do that cheer until all of the football players were out, all of the coaches were out, and the football managers were out too. So we had to wait till all of them were out.